Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 201 of Outside The Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. Can you believe Christmas is only 2.5 weeks away? I swear, it feels like ball season just ended a few weeks ago. I probably should start shopping, I guess, but of course, I'll wait until the last possible second like I do every year. I have no idea why I don't do it earlier so I can relax leading up to it. One of these years, I'm going to do it. Maybe. Anyways, on to this week's guest, and we sit down with unquestionably the most resilient person that we've ever had on the pod. It's University of Georgia alum, the one and only Kendall Burton. Listen, what Kenny has gone through in her lifetime it's crazy. 23 surgeries prior to even getting to college is one thing, but then to have a stroke 6 days after her first college ball game is another. You're going to find out how she had to learn to walk, speak, and read again, after the stroke, but then managed to go out and start in all 54 games her freshman year, which is absolutely incredible. We chat about going through all her adversities, transferring from UTSA to Georgia, fulfilling her dream of getting to play in the Women's College World Series, what's in store for the future, and so much more. Getting to hear Kenny's journey personally was so special for me. This conversation will move you, motivate you, and it'll remind you what's possible when you believe in yourself. Before we get to it, make sure to drop a comment on the show, give us some sort of rating, anything, just anything. Just give a rating. Anyway, you can follow Kenny on Instagram at Kenny Grace. That's KENIGRACE. We're at Outside The Chute on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. If you have a YouTube account, please go subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 1,000, but we need your help. Anyways, let's get to this amazing episode. This is Outside The Chute, and anything goes.
I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes.
All right, here we go. We are happy to have on with us today 2015 second team All-Conference USA and all-freshman team selection while she was at UTSA. No doubt the most resilient guest we've ever had here on the pod. It's University of Georgia alum, the one and only Kendall Burton. Kenny, thanks so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to chat with you today.
How's things going down in Texas?
It's actually cold right now. Not ideal, not what a Southerner is used to. But it's great. Austin, Texas is perfect.
Now, when you say cold, come on. I'm up here in Nova Scotia, Canada, and tomorrow morning, they're saying it's going to be minus 13 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, we're not even close to that. I mean, we're talking, it feels like 35. So, I mean, I was wearing my puffer coat down to my ankles today because that's how we roll in Texas when it gets cold.
we be in t-shirt and shorts up here.
Yeah, exactly. Cannot relate at all.
Oh, wow. So talking before we start recording, you're going through a little bit of a move right now, are you?
Yeah, sure am. I'm actually moving to a bigger space. They're actually the biggest space I've lived in by myself. So that's a little accomplishment for me at 29 years old.
Nice.
So
Nice. How's our boy Remy handling the move? Does he?
Remy, he's a little confused on the boxes. It's not his first move because we did move from Dallas to Austin last year in 2024, but He's doing well. I think he understands what's happening, but he has been a Velcro dog due to all of the boxes. He's a little nervous.
Right. Now, for those who don't know, Remy's a dachshund, right?
Oh yeah, miniature long-haired dachshund.
Yeah. See, I call them wiener dogs. I love wiener dogs. Ever since I was early in my teens is when I was like, I became obsessed with them. And then when I saw Remy on your socials, I was like, oh my God, I got to talk to Kenny about Remy.
No, he is truly the light of my life. And I like didn't know how much I loved dachshunds until I got one. I genuinely just wanted a small dog because I lived in an apartment and I felt like it wasn't fair to get a big dog. And now my sister and brother-in-law have Remy's half brother. And I am just waiting to have a giant yard so I can have like 7 of them.
Oh, fun. That would be the best.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I just need to buy some land out here and just have a big ranch for all of them.
And you can do, I saw the social that you posted with you were doing the races with him, and he kept cheating. He kept jumping the gun there. And
he loves to cheat. He has to win. He's competitive. It runs in the family.
That's amazing. Yeah. So a big yard. If you have 7 of them, you could have a great race.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even have to go to a wiener race. I don't have to pay for it. I can just have one in my yard.
That's exactly. So I mean, let's keep in the now right now. What's on the go right now for you?
So just in terms of kind of work and where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm currently working as an account executive at BHG Financial. It's a private direct lender. So that is my 9 to 5, if you could say. I was in the fitness industry full time for about 6 to 7 years. And so I made that transition, but I still do that part-time. I teach Pilates about 7 times a week. And I was working with the softball team actually right outside of Austin every Thursday night, which was just so awesome because I just love staying a part of the sport. So I stay very busy, clearly, on purpose. I like it. And then I'm just always trying to keep my passion alive in different areas, which is pretty much softball and fitness.
Awesome. That's great. What was the age group for softball?
It was 12U, I believe. Some of the girls, they were playing up, I believe, because all the girls were around 10 and 11. So it had to have been 12U because in 10U, you can't really play if you're 11. But I'm pretty sure it was younger girls playing up.
Oh, okay. Right on. Excellent.
Yeah, it was really fun. They were awesome.
Oh, I bet. Because that's where they're definitely getting right into it at that age.
Oh, and they're so competitive. They didn't have a single tournament in the Austin area. They traveled every weekend. So there's so many girls on that team that they really can go as far as they want if they really want it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we have a little thing that we like to kick off each podcast with. I call it quick pitches. Now, because it's called quick pitches, it doesn't mean you have to answer them quick, and they don't have to be like short answers.
Okay.
So I just called it quick pitches because it sounded good. So
no, I love it. I like it.
These are random questions, and you answer them as best you can.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. First one. I always start with this one. If you had to live off one meal for a week, what is it?
A whole week?
Yep.
Am I allowed to know the season of the year?
Any.
Because that's going to change things.
Summer.
Summer? Crawfish, no joke. I would crawfish hands down. If it was the summer specifically, spring, summer.
Crawfish. Okay. Up here, lobster is our thing. So,
yes. Okay.
And I love lobster.
Adjacent. Kind of in the family.
Okay. All right.
Big seafood girl.
Oh, me too. Oh, well, I'm not a girl, but I'm a seafood boy.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like sushi. I love sushi.
Oh, yeah. Sushi is my go-to, hands down.
Yep. Next one. Biggest thing you miss at UGA?
Oh, man. Biggest thing I miss at UGA. Honestly, the atmosphere. And I know that sounds really broad, but it just didn't matter what I was doing, whether I was on the softball field, walking the campus to go to class. It just felt like you could feel the energy around you. And it just I've never felt that feeling anywhere else, just in a place. Mm-hmm. So I would truly just the atmosphere and the true pride of being a Bulldog is just it's something that's unmatched when you're especially in Athens, on campus.
Right on. We'll get more into Georgia later on. Best thing about growing up in Texas?
Oof. Well, honestly, year-round softball. We never had to take a break. I mean, we played up until Christmas, got started at the end of January. So that was probably the best thing about Texas is that I never had to take time off of my sport.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. People, even in the Midwest, you can't, you know, like you have to have all these indoor fields. Like we never had to deal with that. Like we, you know, we would tough it out, you know, I mean, granted, when we say tough it out, it's like 40 degrees, but still for us, very cold.
Yeah. Yeah. We finish here probably around mid-September and don't start up again until the end of May.
Yeah. So that's like, I mean, truly, I'm so glad I grew up. And also just being a Texan is cool. I don't know. There's like, it's the weird pride that you can't explain. I love being a Texan.
Well, I know. I see it enough on TV and stuff that I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it's cool too. Like, I love it.
Yes. No, I mean, it's just a very, very spirited bunch out here in Texas.
Yeah. If you could go back and play one game over again, which one is it?
Okay, give me a few seconds.
Yep.
Okay. Oh man, I have three that I'm just like, okay. I won't give a selfish one because there was one specific game we didn't win, so I'll put that one to the side.
Okay.
But I would truly say the Friday night game against Florida, my senior year. It was at UGA. We played at home and we beat Florida in a walk-off. And I mean, up and down the lineup, everyone had a moment to shine. Alyssa DiCarlo, who's still my best friend. I was just texting her before we got on this podcast or on this call. She hit the walk-off home. It was just, I could not, the energy was electric. And then that entire series I would relive again if I could. But that specific game, that Friday night game against Florida, that during the conference series was just incredible. I would love to relive that.
And you went 3 for 3 in that game.
I did. I was about to say I did go 3. I actually didn't remember. I know I hit my first at bat. They thought I was going to butt, and I almost took the first baseman's head off.
Oh,
but
nice.
yeah, I mean, yeah, she's alive and well, so we're good.
That's right.
And that was, you know, my first appearance against Kelly Barnhill. She was a huge, I mean, what a force of nature in the circle, especially during that time. So it was just, I did really well. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like every single girl on the team had a moment where they did something really spectacular. And so I think that was also just the fact that everyone had something to be proud of and the team won. It was just like, you can't rewrite it. You can't.
What's funny is I was actually going to bring this series up later on in the podcast, but since we're talking about it, I'm just going to bring it up now because
yeah, let's do it.
You guys you won 2 out of 3 that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And you personally went 6 for 8 on the weekend. And I mean,
oh, wow.
Like,
thank you.
Like
I didn't know
just
that.
a great weekend against what they were number 2 in the country at that point, I believe. Yeah. And I mean, for you guys to, you know, reel off 2 out of 3 against them, like that had to be huge for the confidence and it big time.
It really was.
Yeah.
Well, especially because we had just lost our ace pitcher.
Oh, that's Brittany. Right. That's right.
And
too.
So, you know, we had, and I might be thinking of it wrong, but I think they were maybe 2 or 3 weekends after we lost her in the Tennessee conference. Mm-hmm. And we were so eager to be like, okay, we don't have Brittany anymore. And that's really not ideal, but we still have magic here. Like we still have really good stuff. And, Mary, our pitcher, who really stepped up, and Kylie as well. Honestly, the entire pitching staff really carried us, throughout the season after that. But I think it was more of, that was the weekend where we proved that our faith in ourselves was real. It was legit. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't us just saying stuff to say it. Like we knew that we had a lot more left in the tank and we could go pretty far if we just kept it up and were consistent.
Right.
So the confidence boost, and also just us, like, I mean, we were so ready to attack Kelly Barnhill. And like, you know, obviously I'm not saying that in a mean way, but we were so ready to be like, she can be beaten, right. Y'all. Like, we can do this. Yeah. And I mean, the amount of tape we studied, we were like standing on giant boxes, hitting off of a pitching machine to like get to her rise ball. It was just, wow. It was just the most intense training week too, but it was like nobody wavered. Everyone was so ready and into it. It was just like it was just every single person knew that we could do it. And then the fact that we actually were able to take at least 2 out of 3 from them was, I mean, you can't relive it. It wouldn't even be the same if I did relive it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just, and that was probably the weekend, where we really were like, hey, we're still in this. Like, it's not, we can still do something with this season, regardless if we lost our ace picture or not.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, not only did you get to Kelly, I mean, also Alicia Casio was there too.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I
Here's
mean?
the thing. One of my at bats, I will never forget. She got me strikeout looking, change up down the middle. I remember going back and watching it being like, how did you just sit there? And I knew I didn't catch it. I did not know that it was going to be off speed. And the second I got in the glove, I didn't even look at her. I just started walking away. I was like, great job. You did it. But no, she always got me. She was a force of nature as well. I mean, their entire pitching staff was just something. But the Kelly Barnhill of it all was more of, we were just really ready to be like, she can be, we can beat her. It was because I feel like at that time Kelly was really on fire too, and
big time.
And so was Florida that year, just like up to that point. So it was just it was really just chipping away, right? Mm-hmm. So just like whatever pitchers in the box, we were so prepared for it because we were doing all this crazy stuff to get to Alicia's drop ball. So it was just like there was just so much up and down the plane of the strike zone that we were just working on. And it was a fun week leading up to it too. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of these memories.
we got a little sidetracked there on quick pitches, but hey, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Where was I here on my? Okay, best walk-up song you've used.
Man, okay, best walkout song would be it would be Magic Stick by Lil' Kim.
Oh, yeah.
And it was my walkout song my freshman year after I had all the health issues. Yep. And so I feel like it will just always really hold a very special place in my heart. I can still hear it now, like walking up to the plate. So I would say just for me personally, it was my best one because it was just fun. It was very pun oriented with the sport of softball. I really enjoyed it.
It's a great tune.
I like it. You got to make sure you have the clean version and very specific portion of the chorus, and that's all you get in the walk-up song.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Man, they accidentally played the explicit version there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no!
It was very much like
Oh my! Couple more here.
Perfect.
Favorite uniform color combo with the Bulldogs.
Ooh, so unpopular opinion. I love the charcoal gray.
Me too.
That was everyone's least favorite. I was always outvoted to wear that, but
really,
it's really funny. But also, I mean, you got to think the Georgia red and black run. I mean, it's pretty deep. But so for me personally, if I were to put it in order, it would be the charcoal gray, and then I would do red and then black. But the team's favorite, majority outvoted would always
all
be
white?
Black, red. No, it would be
all white.
I mean, we loved the all white. Are you kidding? But it wasn't my personal favorite. I just liked wearing it because that meant that we were playing at home on a Friday night.
Right,
it was more of the sentiment of the fact that we got to wear it. But for me, I just personally loved I just thought they looked so like kind of classic and also like a little upscale. I just really loved them. I thought they were different. So I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, makes sense. Last one here. Sell me on why I need Pilates in my life.
Oh, first things first. You want to be flexible and be able to bend over and grab your laundry as you age.
Well, I definitely need that now.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of just the simple things, the simple tasks in life do become easier to some extent if you keep Pilates as a nice, slight, consistent routine throughout your week and month.
Is that right? So at 47 years of age, and I'm still I still play ball. I still pitch and everything.
Yeah.
So you're saying, like, I would say my flexibility is absolutely terrible. Like,
Right, yeah, understood. It's okay.
It has been since I was like 20 years old. So, but I mean, if you do it consistently, so it helps with your flexibility and.
Yes, very much. It'll target a lot of your smaller muscle groups too. So it just keeps you a little bit like your body a little bit more in tune with the small muscle like fibers that you're utilizing when you don't even realize you're utilizing them throughout the day. It truly is just something that, I mean, because also there's a lot of different styles of Pilates. I mean, you can do a lot more classical, which is John Pilates' method, is a lot more just like movement in the body that's very intentional. It's very slow movement, basically, so you can target your big muscle groups and they can get those shakes, but the smaller muscle groups will actually be working and firing for you. Versus when you're doing a heavy deadlift, all of those small little muscle groups aren't working. It's just targeting the really big ones. So when it comes to longevity purposes, Pilates really is amazing. So I would highly suggest, but also I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, even though it's trending all over the globe right now. But
well, I seen some of your videos and I was like, I wouldn't be able to walk for a week. Like I could, I was like, I'm sure if I did it for consistently, I'd probably be all right. But I saw. Oh,
100%.
So
yeah, I was about to say, I didn't, when I was first doing Pilates, I looked like Bambi for a good solid couple of months. So it's definitely a skill that you will learn.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to look into it.
You should. I'll look at some of the studios around you and tell you which one I think is the best shot to go for.
All right. Let's get into her here.
Okay.
All right. So let's go back to the beginning here. And this is usually where I'll ask guests, tell us how they got their start in the game. But I want our listeners to know your whole deal because your story of resiliency goes back to the day you were born, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like maybe start there, like,
sure.
And we'll go and till softball became part of your life. All right.
Okay. All right. So basically birth till when softball became when I started playing. Okay. Yep. So I'll make it pretty short and sweet. We can dive into a little bit more with other questions. Yep. But so essentially I was born with a severe unilateral cleft lip and palate. And essentially what that means is if you're not familiar, it truly means that you were born with a hole in your face. My lip wasn't fully developed, and same with kind of like the roof of my mouth, the palate of my mouth. And it was actually completely missed on all ultrasounds. So when I was born, that was the first time that my parents found out about it as well.
Wow.
So it was, I wouldn't say it was exactly the best day by any means for them. I mean, of course, I'm here, but it wasn't this beautiful birth story for my mom and my dad.
Right.
And right away when they saw it, they wouldn't let my parents hold me. They put me straight into the NICU where I stayed for about a week. If I'm correct on that, about 7 days. And it was, I wasn't alive and well, like coherent at that time, but they're preparing my parents for all this really crazy stuff, saying that I was most likely going to be deaf, most likely going to be blind. I would have some brain anomalies and just some things that they were just preparing them for that, of course, did not end up to be true, which is, what a blessing. So it's just kind of a really heavy start for my parents in general. And once all of that stuff got really ruled out and they were just like, okay, we just have to deal with this one birth defect that we definitely know we have to take care of. I ended up having my first surgery when I was 3 months old for the repair of my lip because I was never able to take a true bottle. It was a very specific special bottle that you had to use. And from there on out, I was having a surgery, once a year, twice a year until I was 11, wow. Something around those lines. It was just a lot of procedures, a lot of the time throughout the year, I would say. And I was very, very active. I was so tomboy. My mom did not know what to do with me. And my dad was so surprised. He grew up with all brothers. So when I was just like incredibly active, all I wanted to do was sports and run outside. And it's almost funny because softball was such an afterthought. My dad, he played college baseball. He played a little bit in the minors for the Yankees as well, but he had no idea that softball was something that was actually a thing that I could actually play. And funny enough, my parents and I are walking out of Walmart. My mom looks over and there was just someone with a table and it said Missouri City Softball League. And my mom was like, wait, let's sign her up. And my dad was like, I didn't even realize this is something that we could really do. Sure. And that is genuinely how I fell in love with the sport of softball. Because I only things I did after that were things that I started in middle school, which was volleyball and track. But softball was, I mean, truly my first love.
Wow. That's crazy.
So crazy. Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, the fact that, living in Texas, though, you would think, isn't it fairly big down there? Like,
Yes. But my dad grew up in small town USA in Beaumont, Texas, which is where he met my mom and where I was born. And my mom had kind of been, she was in Dallas for a little bit. She kind of grew up all over the place, a little bit in Louisiana as well. Mm-hmm. And we had just moved to Houston when I was, I want to say like maybe 3, 4 at the oldest. And I think it was just more of like, my dad didn't grow up seeing softball players.
True. I guess,
it was, and I think it was just for him. He was like, okay, well, let's get her in dance and then soccer and gymnastics, kind of like the obvious sports that all the kids try. I don't think it really crossed his mind to think if I would like to play softball. I just think it was just kind of I don't know. I think they were just like, yeah, we'll try whatever she wants to try and we'll just put her in the stuff that is the obvious things first. Right. But I was 8 when I started playing. And when I talked to all of my college friends, they were like, yeah, I played t-ball at 4. And I was like, okay, I am very late. So
it worked out for you, but I mean,
it worked out great, but it's just funny how it all lines out and you're put in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. So what was it about the game that you loved right away?
So honestly, I think it really helped with the fact that you weren't so close in people's face. I do think there was a really big aspect of that when I was little, in the sense of I had a helmet on with a big face mask. Yeah. And no one could see me up close unless I was their teammate. And, if I was on the field, you couldn't really see your face. It was just a sense of the fact that I got the team atmosphere because I really love being a part of a team. I'm a big fan of organized sports. Right. And the camaraderie that came with it. But then also like when I got to have my moment to shine, it really was just me. Like I was the only one in the batter's box. If the ball was hit to me, it was hit to me only. I had to take care of it. And I think just the fact of not feeling like eyes were on me and a very like staring at my scar or, because little kids are kids. They're going to ask questions.
Definitely.
And that's totally fine. I grew up with that. I handle it well. It is what it is. I'm not upset when people ask questions, especially when I was younger. Like they don't know what they don't know. But it was nice to just be in a bubble a little bit and feel like I had so much control and there was no subconscious worry about having to explain myself while also, because I remember in soccer, like a girl on another team, like we're actively playing the game and she was like, oh my God, you have a scar on your lip. What happened? And it's like that stuff like that. I think that's why softball really I was drawn to it in the sense of like, nobody's talking to you when you're in the batter's box, like at conversation. So.
Yeah. Or out in right center field or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, exactly. It's just how many outs do we have? Yeah. It's just like what needs to be said.
Yeah. Definitely. So, when did it become sort of serious for you and you realized college could be in the picture?
So when I realized I always, middle school was such a fun time to watch the World Series and, be obsessed. I was obsessed with Arizona and I was a huge fan of Monica Abbott. So I was like weirdly a giant Tennessee fan for a while.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And I think I had bounced around teams in my middle school years, and it was just not really, sometimes it was out of our control. Sometimes it's just like finding the better fit. But 8th grade going into my freshman year, that summer, I tried out for a 18U gold team. And back then it wasn't, the 16U golds they were all of course top tier, but it was like being on an 18U gold team. That's how you got to college.
Right.
Just back when I was playing, that was like the really big thing. And me and my dad were walking back to the car, and the coach like started jogging up to us and offered me a spot on the team right there. And I think it's also when my dad realized, he was like, oh, I have to make sure that my daughter is really in it. Like, this is what she really wants, because this is about to be a different experience for her. This is going to become not necessarily a job, but like, this is a big goal that's actually attainable.
Right.
And I want her to, like, he wanted me to understand the amazing part about it, but also like, hey, this is what this means though. Like, the work ethic changes from here on out. And we had like a really fun conversation. And then he kind of, not stern with me, but he really had a conversation of like, Kendall, like, if this is, you got to really know what you want here. Like, we can't take a spot on this team if this is not something that you want to do in college and like really excel. And actually that is your goal. And I will never forget, I like got all hot and sweaty, and I was like, oh, this is like a big decision in my life right now. And I'm like a child.
Right.
And, but that was really the moment. And I remember just being like, no, that is what I want. Like, that is what I promised, like, that I want to play in college. I just want to be a D1 athlete. And that was always the goal. I didn't care what conference it was. I just wanted to be a D1 athlete. And so that was the moment where things really shifted, and I had to really change just how I was going to look at the sport and treat it in a sense.
That makes sense. And I mean, also, you know, having your father there, who I'm sure went through probably the same process for him. You know, he was in the minor league system for the Yankees. I'm sure at a younger age, he probably had to make a decision as well. Right. So, I mean, he probably was through that as well. So for you to be able to fall back on him, that had to be huge.
Oh, it was, I mean, I cannot stress enough. My dad is genuinely my best friend just in general. But the sport, like the relationship we have due to the sport is something that I can't, and I know there's other girl dads out there who have the softball journey. And I think it's just such a perfect mix of like my health issues and certain things that we dealt with during my high school years that kind of hindered me to get scholarships at certain points or get me in front of coaches. And just the mix of him wanting it for me so bad, him having the pleasure of playing in college and some of the minor leagues as well. It was just, our relationship was just built on just so much grit and faith, like really just so much hope and grit, and just like, we're just going to chip away. And I felt like we really did it together. And my mom was so supportive as well. Right. I mean, it was just more of me and my dad when it came to the real sport. Like, we were just thick as thieves. So it was, I would never replace that relation. It was such an honor, honestly, to have it. Like, when I look back, I'm just so thankful for him.
Absolutely. When it comes to real estate, nobody does it better than Tim I, the real estate guy. Whether you're looking for that first buy or want to build that dream home, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the one to call. With over 45 years in the home industry, Tim offers a unique advantage with its extensive industry experience, ensuring his clients get the most value for their investments. With a proven track record of repeat clients and steady stream of referrals, Tim's reputation as a trusted professional speaks volumes. If you're looking to buy or sell today, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or visit him on Facebook at Tim Eisner Royal LePage Atlantic. Once more, that's 902-499-5717. Before you know it, you'll be saying, Tim Eisner strikes again. So what led to the decision to attend UTSA?
So what led to the decision? I'm going to try and make it a little short because it's kind of long. But so there was a coach there, and I can't remember her name, not because I don't want to, but it was a difficult name to say.
Hey, I'm with you. I know.
But I went to a summer camp, and I went there sophomore year going into my junior year. And back in my day, girls were committing in eighth grade. So
that's
I
right.
was missing.
That's
I was late, not being a committed sophomore. Like I was missing the boat. Something was wrong, kind of thing. Well, not wrong, but you know what I'm saying? It was like, I was like, oh, you're like chipping it down to the wire. Like we're down to crunch time. And I mean, me and this coach really connected. I mean, cannot stress enough. We were just like from the jump, we were just so close. She got me, I got her. It was just a great experience. But after the camp, her and I were talking one-on-one, and she told me that she could only offer me a walk-on spot because she basically just said she didn't trust me enough to be able to hit in Conference USA. It was the reason that she didn't want to offer me an actual scholarship. And so I said, okay, thank you. And, you know, I told my dad on the way home, and I said, like, I think I'm better than a walk-on spot though. Right. And he was like, okay, well, then let's just keep plugging away. And then that, about a month later is actually when I had my jaw realignment surgery, which is my biggest surgery, I would have said, like throughout my cleft lip and palate journey. Mm-hmm. And when I came back from that, and I had, you know, SFA, I had a couple of other schools that just completely ditched me. They found someone else to fill the roster because I was just out for a little bit of time to recover. And I couldn't go on some of the unofficial visits or the official visits because of that surgery. And then I had just genuinely nobody. I was not on anyone's radar anymore when it came to D1 schools. And that was the goal, right?
Right, yeah.
And so then I don't know but then there was like there was a period of time where people would create a video of some sorts, like a highlight reel, but it wasn't of you actually playing. It was you showing your skills. So like, you know, they would do the radar on how fast my throw was from center field home, mm-hmm. and certain things like hitting certain pitches and things. So we paid this guy to create that. And then he sent it out to every school. And my dad also, without me knowing, he sent it to the coach at UTSA. And that was at that time where I was allowed to email back, and they were allowed to email me personally. And she emailed me and said, I saw your video. I'd like you to come for an official visit. And I actually got offered an actual scholarship with some money, some percentage there. And I committed a couple of days later. So wow. That's how I ended up being a road runner. And it's so crazy because I forget that she genuinely thought that I wasn't good enough to play for her, for money, like on scholarship. And then I ended up getting it 6 months later. So it's funny how it works out when you just keep trying new things and testing new things out.
Absolutely. That is wild.
Because if we wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have gone there. There's no way.
Exactly. Wow. That's crazy.
I know. And that was my mom's idea. So that was huge kudos to her. It was her idea
to mom.
To hire. Yeah. She was the one. He was like, well, let's just pay him and do it. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
And my dad was like, okay. And then there we were. So
hey, it paid for itself.
It really did. Yeah, it really did.
That's great. That's great. So you get there freshman year, mm-hmm. you play your first game in fall ball, and then 6 days later, your life gets turned upside down. Maybe walk us through what all went down, because this is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, my first fall ball game, and I remember that game. I remember playing center field and just thinking like, oh man, like you did it. This is awesome. Yeah. This is so cool. And the following Sunday, my grandfather actually passed away, my mom's dad. And of course, that was really sad. He had been sick for a long time. That's also why my mom had been caring for him with her siblings my entire, high school career, just in general. And so that was, of course, tough, all those things. And then the next day we were at practice. And we were doing kind of a 3-part station. It was live hitting, and then you would base run, and then you would have to run foul poles. Okay. And I was base running, and I was just feeling super weird. Like I couldn't really keep my head up straight, like on top of my shoulders. It kept leaning to the right. And I couldn't take my helmet off. Like I could not pick up my right arm. And I just, being 18, and just being like, I'm sure I'm fine, like went and ran my foul poles to the point where one of my teammates was like, how many have you done? I couldn't tell you how many. I think I just ran out there for like 20 minutes. I like did not remember anything.
Wow.
And then I went into the batter's box for my live hitting session. And then I realized I can't pick up my bat with my right hand. And I tried to talk. That's when I realized I couldn't talk. So, all of the coaches and the training staff took me over to the dugout. And then I was trying to tell them like, hey, something's wrong. Like I cannot talk, like something's up. And then all of a sudden, in a matter of a second, all of a sudden my speech came back. Everything was fine. I felt fine. And I was like, well, that's weird. That's interesting. And they obviously let me go home. They were like, you're a freshman. Your grandfather just died. There's a lot of changes. You probably were having a panic attack. And so I was like, well, okay, I don't know. And I talked to my dad about it. He decided not to tell my mom at the time because she was literally putting together my grandfather's funeral. Right. And he was like, we'll tell her right after. We'll speak to her about it because, I hear you, but you feel okay. Like I kind of just discussed it with him. And 2 days later, I drove down to Beaumont, Texas for my grandfather's funeral. And the very next day, we were playing UT, actually, at UTSA for my fall ball game. So my dad said, I'll drive you in your car home. And then Mom will meet us the next day so we can drive back to Houston together. And so my dad dropped me off with my car. He went over to a hotel down the street and I started to go to bed that night and I rolled over on my right shoulder and everything that I felt 2 days prior at that softball practice was heightened. Magnitude. I felt like my right arm wasn't even connected to my body. I couldn't remember how to walk. I just kept telling myself, just get to the mirror. If you can see yourself, everything's going to be okay. Got to the point where I got in front of the mirror. I looked like I was 100 yards away. I was maybe 2 feet away. Tried to get to my phone. Thank goodness for no passcodes back then. Or I didn't have one on my phone. Called my dad maybe 20 times and he didn't pick up. And that's when I got really scared. And I remember just laying on the floor, just like begging myself, like, do not fall asleep. Like, I really didn't think that I was going to wake up if I did. And my dad finally called me back, realized I couldn't talk. And we got to the hospital and that was an experience in itself because I was 18 and there was a neurologist on call, but he wasn't an actual person. They like wheeled him in on a computer to talk to me, like virtually.
Whoa.
Yeah, because this is all happening around like midnight, 1 a.m.
Right.
And he just kept asking me to like repeat a phrase to him and I couldn't do it. And then essentially he was asking, my dad and me if I had taken any drugs. And like, he kind of went through this whole spiel of like, she's a kid in college. She probably took something. She can't tell us what it is.
Right.
She also and then it went down the rabbit hole of her grandfather just died. She just went to a funeral. She's probably just having like some sort of a shock situation happen. And I'm just sitting there like not able to defend myself. And that was truly the worst part because my poor dad was like, he wanted those things to be true so bad. And when he was taking me to the hospital, to the ER, he called them and said, I think my daughter's having a stroke. And so, and that was the most disheartening part is because my dad knew what happened. And then the doctors were telling him something else because they just didn't know. And watching him like get his hopes up and me sitting there knowing like, I don't know what this is, but I know this is not what they're saying it is. And he didn't think I was on drugs, but you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And so then the next morning, it was really, really early in the morning. They took me in for like a 2-hour MRI. And have you ever had an MRI done by chance?
Well, funny thing. So in March, I was playing hockey and I took a puck right to the face.
Oh my gosh.
I fractured my orbital bone, got totally smashed. I have 3 plates in my face now around my eye.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I had my first ever MRI in March. So yes,
Oh my gosh.
I know what you mean.
Okay. Well, I hope that your recovery has been going well.
It has been, yes.
Okay, good. But since you have, I hate that's the reason why you went in for an MRI, but you understand how loud they are.
Yes.
Yeah. So my MRI was 2 hours. I fell asleep within 30 seconds. And that was when the nurse, when I came out of that, she said, "Were you asleep that whole time?" And I just looked at her, and I knew in her eyes, she was like, "Oh, this isn't what we thought it was." Like, right. I'll never forget. And I barely remember a lot of like after that morning, there's so much fuzziness just because my brain wasn't working properly.
Yeah.
Or it was healing. I shouldn't say it wasn't working properly. It was just healing.
Right.
And that's when the doctor came in, and a real life neurologist who's great, by the way. We love Dr. Birnbaum, but he came in and he, told me the news because I was 18 at that time. He couldn't look at my parents and tell them certain things. It wasn't like they were my medical power of attorney. It's not like you put that in place when you're 18.
That's right.
So, he sat there and said, from the scans, you definitely suffered an acute ischemic stroke. This is why. And it hit my front left, like frontal lobe. So basically right behind my eye, right above my eyebrow. Mm-hmm. And so that's where all my cognitive function was. So that's why I couldn't read, write, or talk at the time and really comprehend certain things. But my body was able to physically work still. And it's because I was still so young. I didn't have any physical issues because it would happen on the left side of my brain. And it was just kind of a lucky thing as well that I didn't have any residual effects physically, but that was just kind of the snippet. I think I went into way too much detail on how it all happened, but
no, it's all good.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I want to hear this.
Yeah. And so from there, it was just very much, all I could think about was like, okay, so when do I go back to school so I can play softball? Because like you're a student athlete, the student comes first, right? But that's all I could think about. All I could think about was getting back to the sport because I had gone through, 23 surgeries by the time I was 17. And that was just a whole thing in itself that I thought I wasn't going to be able to get the one dream, the one goal that I had. And then this was happening. And I was like, well, I can't let this stop me. And so I love how naive I was to the situation at 18, as weird as that sounds, because it honestly helped me just be like, no, I can do this. Like we can make this work. Yeah. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, obviously, but we did. We were able to make it back. So
now, did the doctor say like you can't go back, or did he say, no, I suggest that you don't? Or so
my Dr. Birnbaum, he was like, listen, physically, there's nothing I can tell you can't do. You could run a marathon tomorrow if you wanted to.
Okay.
He was like, but it's we don't know how long this is going to take your brain to heal. It could take 6 to 8 months. It could take years. Like, I don't know if you can roll back in school, was kind of how it, and I went through so many tests. Because there was so much, because also there was absolutely no signs in my body whatsoever as to where the stroke was caused from. There was no blood clot. There was just so many questions as to why it happened. I also had walking pneumonia and bronchitis at the time that I was not aware of. I had a really intense cough, but I just felt like I had a little casual cold. I was very ill. So there was just all of these things where they were like, okay, was she so sick that she ended up having this stroke? Or, I had one neurologist tell me that I'd had so many surgeries and my body had just gone under anesthesia, and I was doing things like a college athlete. You're being more physically active than a regular 18-year-old, I guess is the best way for me to put it.
Right.
And so it was just like, maybe your body just gave out, or, and then of course, like they thought that and then there is a slight dissection of my carotid artery, but that is something, it was like a 10% plaque buildup, which is most likely what majority of all humans on this earth have. If you turn your head too fast, you can get plaque buildup on your carotid artery. So it was just all these theories, right? But to go back to that, it was very much, my doctor said, like, yeah, I can clear you physically. There's nothing you can't do, but your head and your brain and your recovery, like even physically, it might be challenging to get back into things. And so that was kind of that, but that's also all I needed to hear, because I was like, okay.
You're like, so challenge accepted.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, so I can do this. I just have to figure out how to read, write, and talk. And I don't know why I thought that was like no big deal. But because I really didn't. I was like, I can figure this out. I can do this.
So how long did that take to get that all back?
Well, I can be very honest with you and tell you I should not have enrolled back in school when I did. But I was so eager to talk, and my speech came back the best, the most quick, because right. I felt like I was playing a game of charades with my friends all the time. I mean, truly cannot stress enough. They did not know what I was trying to say, but it was so helpful, because like they would guess, and then I would be able to like put things together and be like, okay, so I said this wrong. And then I would actually ask them, I was like, what was wrong? So it was so nice to have like other 18-year-olds that don't know how to handle a stroke patient.
Oh yeah.
Just living life with me and just trying to figure it out with me. And so I firmly believe there's something about that really did help with my speech, because I also wasn't afraid to fail. I mean, it's also really embarrassing. I definitely cried a lot. Like, my cognitive therapy sessions were horrible. I mean, just mentally draining, and you just felt the lack of intelligence just like leaving you every day.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. Wow. Yeah.
But it was just, I was just so okay failing, even if I was crying and feeling like I was just failing every single minute of the day. It was, my speech started to really come back, and it wasn't fully there, but I could definitely hold a conversation. Like I could do that.
Right.
Reading and writing, first of all, autocorrect and laptops saved my life getting into school and be able to finish school. But I will tell you, reading and comprehension of reading didn't truly come back for maybe 2 years.
Wow.
And that was really, really difficult. The year after my stroke, it was when I had my first post-stroke seizure, I believe. And that, I had to go get checked out, of course, from my doctor, who was in San Antonio. And, he just sat there and he told me, he was like, Kendall, I'm not going to tell you what to do, because you're going to do whatever you want. He said that to me, quote unquote. Nobody was in the room but me, which was like, I love that I just will always love that experience, because he was like, I know you're not going to do this because I just know who you are at this point, but you shouldn't be in school. Like, this is why life is so hard for you. Like, you're a brand new person. You went through something very traumatic. You're getting to know a new version of yourself, on top of the fact that your brain can't compute. It can't filter things and understand things the way it used to. Like, you shouldn't be in school. I know you're going to do it because you want to play softball, but I'm telling it to you very honestly. And there was a moment that really crossed my mind of like, maybe I should sit a year out. Maybe I should, take a break. Really glad I didn't do that, but it was a very challenging first year. But softball saved my life, completely saved my life when it comes to the recovery of things. Cause if I would have gone home and just sat around and, tried to recover there, I wouldn't be the person I am anymore.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Well, I think the crazy thing to me was that you started all 54 games for your freshman year, which is just absolutely insane to think about, considering what you went through. Like, it's mind blowing, actually. So, like, when did you say your first post-stroke seizure was?
That was in the fall of 2015, I believe, or maybe it wasn't. No, my first one, it was in the spring of 2016.
So after your freshman year?
It was, yes. So, and I had to have been in the spring. It had to have been in the fall, because I had that conversation with my neurologist then. And I wasn't in season.
Oh, okay.
So I know it was then. my memory is spotty sometimes when it comes to this stuff.
Well,
because
no
I don't
doubt.
remember it naturally. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the first, and the post-stroke seizure. It's not like a seizure that, you would typically think of. Essentially what that means is that my dead brain cells that died from my stroke, sometimes my brain it would misfire. It would utilize, it would listen to the dead brain cells versus the active ones. So it would feel like I was having another stroke. And sometimes I wouldn't be able to talk until it passed. So it was more scary for other people because I wasn't really, and I was obviously wildly uncomfortable when it was happening, but it was just more terrifying because it was like, you're just waiting for it to pass kind of thing. And you don't know, is it a real stroke or should we, it was just a lot, I would say. Yeah. And I dealt with those throughout my college career, a handful of times.
Right. So they're gradually going, do you still get them today?
So I did have one last March, and I rarely get them now. I mean, Granted, they're not, even if you kind of do some research on it, they typically last, about 5 years after the actual initial stroke. And I will sometimes get them, and it's solely kind of me because I'm very self-aware now. If I get really, really stressed and I'm getting a lack of sleep, I know that I'm prone to that to happen. So, they randomly will happen. But when I say, because the one I had in March, I hadn't had one for 2 years before that. So it really is just being very self-aware and making sure I'm really taking care of myself to the best of my ability.
Right. Makes sense. So you finish your second year at UTSA. At that point, you're like, I want to play in a Women's College World Series.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I'll tell you a quick story, I promise. I'm talking so much.
It's okay. I love this. Okay. I love it.
No, it was my sophomore season, there was just a lot happening, I guess. I felt like I was really understanding a big part of adulthood in the sense of that everything really is a privilege. It's not a right that's just handed to you. And I would never trade my years at UTSA. I cannot stress that enough. I would never trade them for anything. The girls I met, the people who cared for me during I just really, really loved my time there. But I just felt like I was surrounded by people who didn't care to try and at least get as far as we could into a season, even if as a mid-major D1 school. And I just throughout that season, I just remember thinking you were working overtime to do this. And it's you have to be around people who want it just as much as you. And I don't want to say that the girls around me didn't want it as much as me, but I think that they kind of just accepted, oh, we're a mid-major. We're never getting deep into playoffs. We're not going to a regional. Does that make sense? I just felt totally. It was just kind of this is what we do. This is our thing.
Yep.
And the whole season I was kind of fighting that, and we were playing in the conference tournament and we lost on a walk-off win. It was something silly. There was an overthrow or an error. I don't even know. But I remember coming off of the field and I remember thinking, I'd rather not play softball than do this, than work for this.
Right.
And so, I packed up my stuff. We had our little team meeting and I hugged my dad and I told him that exact thing. I was like, I don't want to play. I'm leaving. I'd rather not play softball at all if I have to play here. And his poor face, he was like, we just went through the ringer, Kendall. My gosh. And so, but that was really the moment where I was like, no, if I'm going to work this hard, I want to work hard for something, not just for myself. I wanted to be a part of something bigger. Because I also was feeling very selfish in the sense of you're working so hard just for you to play softball. But it's I wanted to be around people who it wasn't just about them and their accomplishments too. It was something so much bigger. And that's why I really left UTSA. I really wanted to be a part of something bigger and see how far I could go.
That makes sense. Totally makes sense. So, the whole OSU thing,
yeah.
Yeah. Why OSU off the get-go? Was did you have communication with them? Well, obviously you had to have to end up there. But I mean,
Yes. So I went through the portal. It's not how it is nowadays. My gosh, I would have haven't had such a better time. But it's basically you went back to high school. So like you had to advertise yourself. Like my dad and I were sending email after email after email. My dad was so smart. He was like stalking rosters of like Big 12 schools because he knew I could compete at that level, right? Because I had done really well against UT and some other bigger schools that we played. And so he was like stalking their rosters of like, okay, so what outfielders are leaving and how old are these people? And like, he wanted to give me a fighting chance. Like if I was going to do this, he wanted me to actually play. So very smart man, very thankful for him. Because I wasn't thinking about that. I was just like, I'm gonna go play somewhere big. Like I didn't, and then Oklahoma State, they needed someone just like what I had to offer, good arm, speedy, could hit for power, could drop down a sneaky bunt, like all those things. And I was talking to a couple other schools, but Kenny Gajewski, I mean, OSU. He's a great guy. I mean, truly, just a truly good guy. And I remember leaving OSU thinking, like, I just had a gut feeling, like, I don't know if this is good, but it's everything that I'd ever wanted. I wanted to play for a town, like, it was just Stillwater. Like, I've always, like, a place like Athens where it's like the college is the town. And I always thought that was just so cool.
Yes.
And so it was like he was like, Kendall, it's on the silver platter. Like you're getting like this a great offer to transfer. We didn't expect, to get as much the offer that we got. And he was like, this is everything you said that you wanted. And I was like, but Dad, my gut, I don't know. There's something weird about it. I decided to go anyway. It had nothing to do with Coach G or the school at all. It was just like truly my intuition. 2 weeks into, being in Stillwater, I go to my physical that we have to do with the team doctor, and he takes a look at my chart and he's like, yeah, I need you to see a bunch of specialists before I sign off on you. And then long story short, essentially all of those specialists sat me down and told me that I was unfit to play college softball. I was going to have another stroke. I was never going to be a college athlete again. I was going to put myself in danger. I'm too much of a liability. And so Oklahoma State clearly did not medically clear me. And also in their defense, when it comes to that college doctor, they just had a basketball player who had passed away that summer.
Oh, right. That's right, too.
Yeah. So I really get it. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand why the nervous energy around my portfolio medically was scary and overwhelming. But the thing that was just really tough is that they never reached out to my surgeon who cleared me to play 2 seasons of college softball. And so it was just a frustrating time. But I met Riley. I mean, Riley, my gosh, she was my girl. She was my roommate, along with 2 other girls. And Riley and I just really got along so well. And she was such a helpful supporter during a time where I had zero. It didn't matter how hard I worked at something. I was just getting no after no after no, because then a bunch of other college teams heard about this and they didn't want to sign off on me. And the only 2 schools that, number one, needed me on their roster, or, it would be good for me to be on their roster and would medically clear me, was Oregon and Georgia. And I will tell you right now, I definitely thought I was going to choose Oregon before I went on those visits.
Really? How come?
Oh, yeah. I was always a huge Oregon fan. I just thought that they were cool. The Nike hub, like it was,
those uniforms.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I have green eyes. I'll look great in green,
Exactly.
But I went on that visit and like my gut was just screaming at me, like, I don't know. Like everything was so amazing, but it was just like, I can't picture it though. Can't imagine it. There's no way. And I mean, I was in Georgia for way less time. I'm talking less than 24 hours. The majority of my visit was at a hospital getting scans just to be checked out one last time by their doctors. And before we drove to the airport, I committed on the spot on the field. I just knew that was exactly where I wanted to be and who I wanted to play for Lou and Tony.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be amazing getting that medical clearance, though. Like,
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And you know what's really funny? So I committed. I got the medical clearance. I committed. An hour later, the neurologist calls me from Athens, being like, "Hey, we're gonna need to see an old scan because I need to make sure that both of these, like, basically, I had these two veins that were not symmetrical, but he had to make sure that they always looked like that versus just like right now."
right.
So then there was a whole nother 12 hours where we weren't sure if we were medically cleared after I already committed to them. But it all worked out. We're all great. Because my dad was like, "I'm telling you, I've seen your scans. I'm pretty positive that both, like, they're off. They're a little they're not symmetrical. So I think we're going to be okay."
Right.
But that was just a whole nother thing. My poor dad and I were like on cloud nine. And then we're like at the airport and he's going back to Houston. I'm going back to Stillwater. And he's like, "Okay, well, I'll keep you posted." Like, it was just so, like, it was like we couldn't catch a break.
Right.
But then, yes, I was medically cleared. And so it all just really, it worked out so beautifully. It was awesome.
That's crazy. So crazy. What, like,
Yeah.
and
I mean, all these little tiny details too. It's just insane.
Yeah. And we're just getting to Georgia now. Like, holy cow. Like, so.
No, I'm sorry. We've been on.
No, I love it.
For an hour.
I love this. I love this so much. So, I mean, you get there. What, was there much of an adjustment period for you when you got there?
Yeah, I cried every day for like two weeks straight.
I don't mean to laugh.
No, because it was hilarious. Because I was like, I was like, "This is your emotional breakdown. This one, like, we've done so much. This is you actually got it now." But I think it was just. I mean, I transferred schools. I also left my home state for the first time, and then I was only there for 4.5, 5 months, and then I immediately was moving to another state in the middle of the season, where I was about to walk into softball season too. I think it was just such a mix of like, oh my gosh, you've done so much work to get here and now you can't mess it up. Like and also I'd never had to worry about getting on a bus to go from class to class. Do you know how many times I got lost? I had to call teammates that I just met, like, "Hey, can you pick me up? I'm not even close to campus. Like, I don't know where I am." So that was a lot of the emotional breakdowns too.
Right. That makes sense.
But it was a huge adjustment period, and not to mention it was a caliber of softball that I had never been trained at.
Right.
You know,
it's a whole different animal.
The first week I was just like, well, they're probably regretting picking me up because I just felt like I couldn't hit off the pitching machines. I couldn't, like, it was just. There were so many things that I was just getting so back into. And also I missed out on an entire training of fall season. Like I mean, I literally had not really played softball from the moment I stepped off the field playing in a Roadrunner uniform.
Yeah.
So it was just such a perfect mix of like, you're in the big leagues now and you're not ready. Like, I mean, you'll get there. I knew I would get there. But it was a tough adjustment period, but I finally settled in and I actually got the starting spot after, 5 weeks of being in Athens. But once I got that spot, I completely spiraled. I mean, I was freaking out that I actually got the spot. And then I was like,
putting pressure on yourself.
You can't lose it. I was like, oh my gosh, you did all, like you did it. Like I kept accomplishing the things that were really hard. And then once I finally got it, I was like so petrified to lose it because I had worked so hard. It was just, and that was such that was a really big moment in my life because I had a really big post-stroke seizure in California. We were out there for a tournament, lost the starting spot, didn't play again until the last conference series against Arkansas. So it was the first time in my life that I sat the bench consistently. And it was very big character building. It was very much like having to like prove myself again. And I knew it wasn't going to be handed to me. So I just committed. I was like, you are not sitting the bench your senior year. That is an absolute non-negotiable. Like, you did not do all of this stuff. You've done your time. You're going to earn your spot. No questions asked. And it was, so I think that was like the year where I really came into myself, where everything I've been through, I was able to actually utilize to my advantage within my work ethic versus putting all that pressure and all these bricks on my shoulders, it's just like,
Right.
it's still fun at the end of the day.
Yeah,
like you worked all of this it wasn't to keep food on the table for your family. It was solely because you love this sport and like what comes with it, the teammates, the coaching, the discipline. It was all of that stuff is what I love.
Yeah.
So it was really beautifully scripted, even all the highs and lows. I couldn't have written it better from my, like, I mean, I guess I could have definitely written it better, but you know, I wouldn't change it.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's funny, I have in my notes here about bringing up that, you know, you open up the senior season. Like you came flying out of the gates. After
I sure did. Like, that was,
after that first weekend, you were hitting 722 and you hit 2 home runs, which
I know. And you know what? The game that I didn't say earlier that I would love to relive again was when our only loss that weekend against Oregon, when I had an unreal game against them. And it wasn't like sticking it to them because I didn't choose Oregon. You know, it was just more of like, they were upset, obviously, when I didn't choose. I felt like they just didn't understand, like, why would you choose Georgia versus Oregon? And not in a petty way. It wasn't anything like that. It was just more of like, seriously, you know, like, because I think that they just thought the weekend went so well. And I didn't think they really knew how many doubts I had. But I just did so well against them. It felt good to prove, like, I did make the right choice, even if we did lose to you guys. I know I made the right choice. I was supposed to be here at Georgia. And it just felt good to do that well, especially after coming off of a junior season where I barely played.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't even think I batted 300 on my junior season.
Right. Now, you mentioned, so was Coach White at Oregon then?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know. So that was the other thing. He was like a prodigy. So it was crazy. Like, of course, everyone thought I was going to choose Oregon when I had my 2 options. I mean, obviously, Coach Lou is incredible.
Yes.
She's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame in a couple weeks.
Yes, that's right, too.
But yeah, so it's not like that, but it was just still like you had these 2 powerhouses. And at that time, Oregon was consistently good. Like that was when they really started going to the World Series every year. Like they were just kind of like another powerhouse team. And Georgia was always really good, but it was always kind of a flip of a coin if they'll get deep into playoffs. So I think it was just kind of a perfect mix of that. And I don't mean to say that mean about Georgia, because obviously, like, love my Georgia girls, but before I got there too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, Coach Mike White was there, and now I'm just down the road, living in Austin with him as he's at Texas. So.
He is like from the men's game part. Like he is a legend from our, like he was one of the best ever to pitch.
I mean,
like
he's unreal. I mean, truly
unbelievable.
I mean, not even human. I feel like I don't know how just truly talented, truly just. Yes.
Yeah. We had him on the podcast here and
really?
Oh yeah. And to have him on and, you know, for him to go through his whole career, like playing on the men's side for us was just unbelievable. Like to go through the stories with him and then how he got into coaching and all that. It was just the episode with him was unreal. So
oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I need to go back and listen to it. Are you
absolutely.
kidding? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yeah. I know. I'm always like, I hope he doesn't hate me. Like,
I'm sure he doesn't. He's probably
I'm sure he just won a national championship. I don't think that he's thinking about me often. So he's fine. Yeah, it's all good.
He's good, yeah. The Rawlings Mantra Fast Pitch Bat helps you bring an elite level of focus, discipline, and power with you to the plate. Crafted with an innovative 3-step inner barrel, this bat perfectly balances swing speed and massive pop. The fully reconstructed collar assembly creates the perfect harmony between flex and stiffness and is the #1 choice for the Canadian women's national team. So the only question you need to ask yourself, what's your mantra? So maybe walk us through winning supers and then, you advance to the World Series. Because, I mean, that had to be absolute elation for you after everything you've gone through up to that point.
Yes. we were the visiting team that day, because it was the second game of the series in Supers. And were playing our visitors team dugout. It was just like a weird experience. I had never done that before because I hadn't played at Georgia, and we didn't make it far my junior year. So like we didn't make it past regionals. So I didn't have that experience. But I remember being, in the bottom of the eighth and just seeing we had 2 outs, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing this. Like, this is happening right now. Like, I'm going to the World Series. Like, this whole journey that I just went on, I can't believe it's actually ending there. And I was having this conversation with myself before we even actually got the final out. But then the ball was hit to Mary, who was our pitcher at the time. She threw it to first. And of course, I was like naturally running to back up in case there was a bad throw. And I was just sprinting. And I remember thinking, I'm so glad I get this view, because I got to watch all of the infield celebrate first. Mm-hmm. And I got to see, in my peripheral vision, all of our fans just going wild. And I remember I celebrated with my teammates, and then it was like it's funny because if you look back at footage, I'm like nowhere to be found because I sprinted to the sidelines because I knew my parents were going to be coming down to the field, and I hugged them. I mean, I got to them before they were even really on the dirt. And I just hugged them so tight because it was their journey just as much as it was mine. I mean, they were my parents. They had to support me through all of that. They had to deal with all of the doctors and figuring out how serious is this? Like, what is going to happen to our kid? Like, so all I could think of was like, I have to celebrate my teammates real quick, but I immediately sprinted to my parents because I had to just hug their neck and be like, we did it, like yeah. I'm here and we're doing this. And it's because you guys supported me and you trusted me too. I mean, they didn't want me leaving UTSA. Are you kidding? So I just will never forget that. And like, even afterwards, because I was playing with Courtney Emanuel, who I started playing softball with when I was 8. Right. I played all-stars with her. And Sydney and Courtney, Bert, I mean, their entire family, I grew up with them. Like, they are family. Like, I mean, Courtney's getting married in May. I'm one of her bridesmaids. Like, we are very, very close. And Coach Bert and my dad are really close. And having the moment with Courtney and Coach Burton, my dad too, like that full circle moment, that felt like out of body experience. Like that was really crazy because you don't get that often. Like that's where those stories are really special.
Yes.
So like those 3 moments, like watching my team celebrate and realizing like I'm a part of this, and then also getting to my parents as fast as I could. And then having our little like 4 group with my dad, Coach Bert, and Courtney and I, like all 3 of those moments were just, I mean, written in the stars, it felt like.
Yeah. It's funny you brought that up because I actually watched the video today of you guys clinching.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's Kenny at? And I was like,
see, that's why I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I immediately had to find my parents. Yep. I know. Because I celebrated them for a second, but then there was just a moment of like, these aren't, of course I wish I had that footage, but I will never get that moment.
No,
back.
absolutely.
And I'm so glad I ran and got to them because I also, we were a little bit kind of outside of the big puddle, which is why we're on a camera of people. And that was also just a really special moment that us 3 had while, and you just hear the crowd like cheering and everyone screaming and you're just like hugging your parents, like as tight as you can. You're all crying a little bit. Like it was just one of those moments. It's a movie moment. It really was a movie moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why you couldn't find me. I was just trying to get to my parents.
It makes sense now. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk the World Series because I've had many guests on here that have been there and they talk about the atmosphere. How, like, in your eyes, how was it for you? Because a lot of guests on here have said, it's a whole different animal once you get to OKC.
It was almost like we all got there, and some of the girls who had played at Georgia had been there 2 years prior when they had that big walk-off against number 1 Florida.
Yep.
which I was watching that game naturally because I had to watch Sydney and Courtney. But I remember getting there and being like, I don't think any of us have trained for this. Like, this is not, no, like you can't, it's like one of those, that was just like, I mean, yeah, we're prepped, but we're not prepped. Like this is so different. Like the energy, just being there for the first practice, just to be on the field and look out at the stands and like the banner across the outfield fence saying World Series, like women's college World Series, and being in right field was like taking fungo and things like that. I was just like, this is insane. Like it was not a normal experience. Like you really did understand how intense like how much work was built up to be on that field. And it was just, I just remember thinking like, this is such an honor. Yeah. I just remember thinking like, this is so wild. Like shouldn't even be real.
Yeah. I mean, especially, after you said 2 years earlier, you're watching it on TV. And
just casually. Yeah. Like I didn't even think I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. But like, I really didn't think that was the end of my story. Like There was, it would have been cool, but so much had happened. And since I like decided to leave UTSA, the World Series wasn't even on my radar until January of 2017 or 2018, when the season was about to start. And we were like, because the girls, and I remember us thinking like, let's actually go for this. Like last season was terrible for Georgia, like compared to any season before that. It was just not a good representation of the caliber of girls that we had on staff.
Right.
And I just remember all of us was just like, no, let's gun for it. Like we're going to the World Series this year. And it was just kind of a joke, but also really serious. Like it was very much like everyone wanted it really badly. And so I think it was also just so cool. Like all of these moments that had led us up there. And like, I mean, we really did have like a resilient season. I mean, we lost some people. We didn't have, certain areas weren't like totally pristine in the lineup. And like, there were just so many holes that we had to fill and try and change up. And then we lost Brittany, and it was such a resilient, like I felt like that season was like the story of my life. And it was so cool to be a part of it with other people versus me having to do it on my own.
Wow. That's great comparison.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So I felt like, and it was also like, I didn't have to talk about it. Is that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like everyone understood. I mean, a lot of those girls, they saw me have post-stroke seizures, and it was just such a, like, one of those moments where I felt like why I left UTSA, this is exactly what I left for. Mm-hmm. Like this is the energy I wanted. Like nothing is going to stop us because we want this that bad. And so that was the coolest thing for me, is because like, I wasn't like, I wasn't one of the few. It was every person up and down wanted it just as much as I did. And so it was almost like you could take a load off because you knew that your teammate was going to be there if you like weren't there 100% that day, but you know that you're giving your all no matter what that, it was just such a,
it's going to be a great feeling to have, like, as a player on a team that, everybody's got everybody's back.
Yes. And like, that was the other really cool thing. Like we were all so close. Like, even if like some of us didn't really get each other, I mean, cause naturally not every person's there, but like everyone got along. We all could laugh together. Like it really felt like a true family. Mm-hmm. And that was just also like, that was just icing on the cake. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, and that when I watch softball, like I can tell the teams that have really good camaraderie. Like you can just tell.
Oh yeah. You definitely
you've lived it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, and it makes me miss it so bad. Like if I would relive that season over and over. And if I could just relive those 4 to 5 months of my life on a loop, I would. No questions asked.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I'm the same way, especially when it comes to like being up here in Canada. I mean, hockey was my thing growing up, and I played at a pretty high level. And to be able to go back to those, like being with the team, being in the dressing room, the team camaraderie. It's just a thing.
You can't explain. It's like hard to explain.
It's so hard to explain.
Yes.
It really is. It's, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know exactly what you mean.
No. Also, I'm a huge hockey fan. After living in Dallas for 13 months, I became a Stars fan.
Oh,
and
nice.
Big hockey girl now. I don't
Nice.
understand it but I watch it. I don't get it, but I don't understand what's happening half the time, but I really enjoy it.
And Dallas has one of the loudest buildings in the NHL. So, I mean,
oh my gosh, the Stars games were so much fun.
Yes.
I really, really, really loved going to those.
like
games.
when they score a goal,
awesome.
when they score a goal, it's loud.
Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. Yeah. I loved it so much.
That's great.
So I just had to, I wanted to put my 2 cents in.
That's awesome. I love it.
That you're a big hockey guy because I got into hockey recently.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One thing I want to ask, a lot of college athletes go through this. How tough was it, for the next couple of years after you were done? Because I know for me, like I said, it was tough after I was done, like playing competitive hockey.
I was so unwell. I cannot. I mean, I was so unwell. I was like almost scary how much I was just not okay. And I knew, like I remember every single day I went to the field my senior year, just like being so happy and always reminding myself, like, every day you leave is like another day closer to the end. And I really, like, when I say I was so grateful and I was so present during that time of my life. And I was also so okay with the fact that I knew it was going to end. But when it did end, it was, complete identity crisis. Now, on top of the fact, I lost the one thing that was the only thing I knew how to handle adversity, was to get back to playing softball.
Right.
From childhood until I was 23 years old. I did not. And so that was also a whole nother component of, I don't know how I don't know who I am. I don't know how to handle. At that time I was obviously putting my emotions into one thing when really I had all the power. I love softball that much. That's why it was always the goal. So I felt like those two things mixed together was really, really challenging. And at the time I was dating someone who was into baseball, not into baseball. He was playing baseball. He got called up to the big leagues whenever, about a year after I stopped playing softball. And, that was like, I was so happy for him, but I remember just feeling like, God, this is so weird, because it's like, you'll never do this again. Obviously college sports and MLB completely different, but I remember that also really hitting me hard, because I'm sitting over here at a Mexican restaurant with Courtney talking for 4 hours about how we don't know who we are anymore without this sport. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself or my life. And it was such an interesting time. And I remember like watching softball and being like angry and sad. And I hated that portion, because it was like, I should be so happy, but I was so upset that I couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Like I was so like mad that these girls got to play and I couldn't anymore. It was like, it was a very interesting time. I was a very sad and angry girl. But it's so great, like being where I'm at now, because I almost appreciate those years, because it was just grief. It was truly just grief, where, it was love for a sport that had nowhere to go anymore, other than to watch it. And now, like, giving back was really helpful, like giving lessons, working with teams, things like that, like also really shifted the way that I saw the sport, because it was like, well, wait, now you can do this for other people. Like what you had, other girls need that too. So it was a very hard transition, to say the least. And I know know what I'm talking about as well.
Absolutely.
So it was also having people who were doing it with me, like Courtney and I both had to stay a 5th year. And so that was really nice that she was there, and because I had someone to really talk to about it, and she got it. She also watched my childhood. She was my defender of bullies when I was little. Like she was just, she'd been through it all with me, and I, same thing with her. So it was really, I will say, like, she made it bearable. She really did.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. It's good to have somebody that, walk the walk with you. And
yeah, exactly. I mean, seriously, walk the walk like from 8, which is so crazy.
Exactly. Like that's insane. That's insane. It really is.
That was a blessing for sure to have someone in my entire life like really understand what I'm talking about when I said it.
Yeah.
And that was really crucial.
No doubt. No doubt. So I guess, so what's the future hold for you, Kenny? Any big lofty goals, or are you just going to keep doing your thing and see where the road takes you?
Yeah, it's actually funny that you say that. I do have a lofty goal. So I'm in Austin right now, and I'm sure you're familiar, with Jen Schroeder and like Amanda Scarborough. And
absolutely.
So Jen Schroeder, I actually worked at one of her catching retreats back in the day after college, and I worked with the package deal for a little while as well, where we would kind of go around the country and host softball clinics in different areas.
Morgan Stewart was part of that too.
Yeah, Morgan was. Oh my gosh, Morgan is so great, and she has her own, her own company, her own brand, and she does this as well when it comes to kind of like these retreats when it comes to the sport of softball.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start out small. I'll keep it really local, but I feel like here in Austin, there's just kind of there's a small gap when it comes to competitive softball players. I want to create like some sort of a weekend where it's like we can get into the deep dive of softball fundamentals, mechanics, like the mental game of everything. But I also want to like add in a lot of speed and agility things. I want to go through kind of a stretching component of how important it is for that. I want there to be kind of a section where the parents get to sit there and ask questions to me, and have my dad and maybe other coaches that were a part of my life growing up as well. Cause it's like parents, they need the guidance. They don't know. And like things are so different now than when they were when I was younger, but I want to just create, an experience where even if the girls don't play softball anymore, they're going to get something out of it. Like I really want it to be softball is the base, but I want it to be a lot more of teaching them a lot of other skills that are just important, which is like speed and agility is any sport you play. Those are going to be important to some extent, like the mental game of softball life, trying to do everything at once. Like, we all just kind of had to figure that out when we were little. And especially, those who came before us, they definitely didn't have anything like that.
That's right.
So I really just want to I want to create something where it'll be beneficial for the kids and also the parents. So I guess I'm calling it a retreat right now. I'm still in the planning stages. I want to do it sometime this summer. But so that's my big lofty goal. If it becomes some big cool thing like Morgan Stewart and Jen and Amanda are doing frequently, then that's great. But I really just kind of want to have my own spin on it and see where it goes. And so that's my big goal for 2026.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. That's awesome. Yeah, especially, the fact that, you got to work with Amanda and Jen and Morgan, you like being able to pick,
I literally
pick
have
their
them
brains.
in my back pocket.
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. So once it's truly the best. I'm so glad I've been on the journey I have, even if I stepped away from the sport of softball and got really into fitness, and now I have my corporate job. Like I can still bring that magic and that assistance to the best of my ability. And so that's, I still have a lot of things to iron out, but that is my goal. So
that's awesome. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. All right. Our segment to end the podcast, player association. So I'm going to throw out a name to you, and maybe you're going to know who they are. It's okay.
Okay.
So maybe
I'm going to say don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe touch on maybe if you have a funny story about them, let her fly. Okay. So it's all in good fun. First one, I let her talk about you. So Riley Bayless.
Riley. First things first, she is the hardest worker I know. And I've also never seen someone get more hype in a game than I've ever seen. Like watching her play softball you could just make a whole movie montage of just Riley. No joke. Like she was just so much fun. Like the passion that her energy that she exuded was crazy. And then just like outside of the sport of softball, like her and I just had so much fun. Like we we just are so dumb. Like, I don't even know. I just like remember so many memories of us laughing so hard. We were on the kitchen floor and nothing really that funny happened.
Because you guys were talking to the microwave. Come on.
Yes. Okay. No, I was getting there. There was like something. Oh, you know what? The reflection in the microwave made our face look really crazy. Yes. Okay. That's the one you're talking about. I was like, there's something about the microwave. I just had to get there. Oh, that's so funny. We have videos of that.
I know. She sent them to me today. And
she did? Oh my God. Okay. Well, then that checks out.
Zoe 101?
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. You did so good. Yes, that's exactly what you were laughing about. I just like, but there's just so many. What's so funny is that like Riley, I felt like that was every time Riley and I got together. Anytime we were in each other's presence, we were laughing about something, doing something so silly that made no sense.
It's amazing.
She was just, God, she was the best. I mean, Tina, I needed her so bad whenever I was at Oklahoma State. She was just such a light, truly.
She told me to ask about the home decor for your guys in Aspen Heights house. Like, what was about the home decor?
Well, it was very Southern and rustic. And it did not make any sense. We had like 5 different chairs and couches that did not fit together. I mean, nothing makes sense. We had like a rug that nothing matched. Because basically there was 4 of us who lived there, and we all just brought something, and then it was there. It was just such an interesting thing, and like we all would just pile up on these like random chairs. It honestly felt like a dude's dorm. It didn't make any sense. Like it should not have been a female like Aspen home like that.
I wish there was pictures to this. Pictures.
I can find you some. I'll do a deep dive. Okay. I'm sure I can find something, but it didn't always make sense. That's for sure.
Right on. All right. Next up I have is Alyssa DiCarlo.
Oh my gosh. Well, you already know she's my best friend. Her and I also, we were destined to meet because Oregon and Georgia were her top 2 when she was in high school. And she got an offer from Oregon, got an offer from Georgia. She chose Georgia. And then, light years later, I had the same opportunity. I choose Georgia. So that's just a cool spinoff that, her and I always like to talk about that. Like we were destined to meet each other by the choices that we made, which is so cool. But she, oh my gosh, she's one of those girls that I've never left harder with. Oh my gosh. We lived together my 5th year. And probably the funniest story between her and I, just like outside of softball, is one time one of our other teammates, Melina Mo, she stepped in her dog's poop and Alyssa's dog's poop and was genuinely screaming at the top of her lungs. And Alyssa was like running to get the poop off of her. But it was this whole thing. And it doesn't sound funny when I'm trying to tell you right now. But I'll actually send you that video, and it is the most chaotic thing you've ever seen in my life, but I've never laughed harder. And it's like, and now it's funny because Alyssa and I have this new tradition where we're going to visit each other on regional that first weekend of playoffs. And for softball world, I went and visited her last May. And all we did was I flew all the way out to Florida just to sit on the couch and watch college softball all weekend. And it was so worth it. So
that would be amazing, actually.
It really was. And we always just had so much fun on the field together. Like we were always just smiling. And also her and I are pretty hotheads. So it was nice to have a fellow person who like wanted to throw their helmet and like smash it, but you weren't allowed, obviously, because that's inappropriate. No one do that.
Right.
But she was such a hothead, and we would always get in trouble from Coach Tony for cussing. Like he hated it. He like didn't like it. Was so unladylike to him. And we were just dropping whatever felt right in the moment, and he hated it. And Alyssa and I just we kind of loved pissing him off a little bit because once we realized it, like bothered him so much, we were like, we're gonna keep doing it.
Absolutely, right?
We're young 20-year-olds. Like, are you kidding? Like, like, what do you think this is? So.
That's hilarious. That is awesome. 2 more here.
Okay.
I mean, you kind of touched on her quite a bit during this. Is Courtney Emanuel?
Yeah, I did touch on her a lot. Well, let's okay, we'll talk. I'm trying to think of like, because I have so many stories with her. I Courtney's just a good one. I don't know how to explain it. I think for me with Courtney, my favorite memory, and this is not just us two, but I think one of my favorite memories is that after softball practice every single day, there would be like there'd be like five or six of us that always had like hung back and we ate our food that was given to us. And we would sit there and chat in the locker room for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I remember like Courtney and I would like tell really funny stories of us in high school. And it was like always so cool that we were able to share our life before Georgia and then being at Georgia together with the other girls.
Right.
That was always just something that like I always would go home and just be like, this is cool. Like you don't really get to do that. You're normally just telling stories to people who don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And so it was so cool for us to both kind of chime in and tell each other stories. And I don't know. And that was great. And actually a really funny story is so Coach Burton, Miss Terry, her parents, Courtney and Sydney's parents, they drove up to San Antonio the second they heard that I had the stroke. And so Miss Terry obviously FaceTimed Sydney and Courtney. And Sydney was just being so sweet and like being, are you okay? Like, we're thinking of you. Like, she was just so happy to see me. And Courtney was like, she was kind of floored, she was kind of like, I don't really understand what's happening. And I tried to say something to her and not even gibberish. It was just not even coherent. It was like baby babble. And Courtney laughed so hard, like in my face on FaceTime. And I just started hysterically laughing. And it was the first time I had really laughed since I had the stroke. Because I mean, we're talking 24 hours into the hospital. But I'll never forget that. And like, she has a very specific laugh. And I'll just never forget because I really needed that laugh because I was like, yeah, I know I sound crazy. I didn't feel human, but I love that story for me personally.
That's a true friend though, right?
No, sure. Yeah, exactly. She was like, yeah, you're down bad, man. Like, that's like, really, she was like, oh, like, you seriously can't talk. Like, this isn't a joke. Because, she went from being scared to being like, oh my gosh, no way. Like, this is for real. Like, but I love that. Like, you're right. Like, such a true friend and just being like, this is comical though, right? We can laugh about this. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe that honestly like spearheaded how I handled just like laughing through it all.
Exactly.
So like, I mean, that could have I never really thought about that until now. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Last, but certainly not least, Coach Lou Harris-Champer.
Oh man. Okay. I have to share. Okay. I'll share two stories. One is like, the first association where I realized like, oh, this is big time, big seriousness. Like I realized that who Coach Lou really was and the whole like stories of her. I was like, we were doing something as like a team defense situation and I was in left field and this was maybe 3-4 weeks since I'd been there. So I just met her about 6 weeks prior to that for the first time only. And I made an error. And I had never seen a little person be so angry. She was so mad and she was like screaming. And it was to the point that I was like having a slight panic attack. I was like, oh, I don't even remember what the error was at this point because you were so mad at me. And she yelled from home plate for as long as she possibly could. And then oh, I'm so sorry. 1 second.
Hey, Remy, come on.
I know. He's like,
it's all right.
But she was sprinting towards me and just like kicking dirt and yelling. And when she finally got to me, she stood there and she's like, I don't care if you're going to make an error, but you're not going to throw your head down into your chest if you do so. And my eyes were so wide, like, oh my gosh. I just remember thinking like, whoa. And it was a moment where I was like, wow, someone's really holding me accountable for how I behave and, how I'm handling failure. And, I think up to that point, I had gone through so much. Nobody wanted to do that for me. My parents obviously they knew I was kind of a hothead. I could get pretty impulsive and get really feisty and all of that. And it was the first time someone had really looked me dead in my eyes and said, no, you're not going to act like that just because you did something wrong. I know you're mad at yourself, but we're not doing that. You're not going to do that.
Coach Lou throwing out life lessons, what?
Yeah. And then I was crossing my arms at the time, and she said, don't you dare ever cross your arms like that on this field or moving forward, because that just means that you're closed off and you're not confident. You show the world who you are.
Wow.
Walked away, and I just had to go back to practice like nothing just happened. So that was probably my favorite lesson I'd ever gotten from her personally, because it changed my life. That moment is where, because if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have handled sitting the bench the way that I did. So many things that changed my life. That one moment, that one altercation. You can say whatever you want about Coach Lou and her behavior sometimes and how she got heated, but it was worthy and it was warranted, and I needed that really badly. And also, probably my biggest personal favorite moment where it was just her and I was the only person on base when the game ended at the World Series, my last game ever.
Right.
And I was on first base. We had 2 outs. So naturally I was running on contact, and Justice Mills, she had finished the game, if I recall correctly. And I rounded second, and Coach Lou was walking off, and I stopped walking. Like, I stopped jogging, and I decided to just actually walk instead of jogging because I knew it was over. And Coach Lou jogged over to me. She put her arm around on my shoulder, and she told me how proud she was of me and how it was such an honor to coach me, and that she was so happy I chose to play for Georgia than anyone else. God. Wow. And I cannot stress enough how much that woman changed my life. And it wasn't because, we sat there and had deep emotional talks. It was the way that she responded when we got the first call when I was cleared by the Georgia medical team. We were in a car, and it was just me, Coach Lou, my dad, and the pitching coach at the time, Rachel. And, my dad, naturally, he really broke down. He got really, he'd been a really hard, intense time.
Naturally,
for him too.
Of course he did.
And he was in the front seat, and Coach Lou was in the driver's seat, and she just patted him on the back and was rubbing his back and said, I know, Dad, I know, but you can breathe now. And that was the moment where I was like, I want to play for her. I remember that was the moment that kind of solidified, and I didn't even have an offer from I didn't have anything lined up. Yeah. I didn't know what I was getting, nothing. But in that moment, I was like, I don't want to play for anyone but her. That's who I need. And when I had my post-stroke seizure in California, she wasn't even at that game. She was in her hotel room with food poisoning, so ill, got to that hospital room and sat by my bedside until they said I was okay.
Wow.
I can't, people will never understand really who Coach Lou really is. I feel like she has this persona of, because she is such a feisty woman when she's coaching. Are you kidding? She is forced to be reckoned with. And I love that about her. It was fun. It's fun to play for someone like that. But she has this side of her where it's at all costs, she will protect you. She will protect, she is just truly, an amazing coach. Cannot stress enough.
And that's why people love playing for her. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She is so worthy of that Hall of Fame induction.
Yes, definitely.
The 13th and the 12th. Yeah.
Definitely. 100%.
I'm so happy and I'm proud of her. She earned it. I need to send you my post that I made for her whenever I found out that she was retiring. You'll really love that one. So I'll send it to you.
Definitely. Appreciate that. Definitely.
Yeah, of course.
Well, what a way to end. This Listen, Kenny, I got to thank you for taking time out of your crazy busy schedule right now. You're like in the middle of a move. I mean, that's crazy enough. Come on, tell your story. Like, honestly, you are such a true inspiration.
Thank you so much. And honestly, I really appreciate you taking the time to let me share it, because I don't get to share it often. And that's why I always add in these like long details, because I'm having to reflect on it too. Yeah. So I appreciate, like, can't stress enough. I really appreciate you having me on and allowing me to do so.
Love it. Love it. Listen, all the best moving forward. Give Remy some love for me.
I will. Don't worry.
And hey, if I ever make it down to Texas, you'll have to show me a Pilates class. All right.
Oh, you have to. Please come on down anytime. We're very, very friendly down here. We welcome with open arms.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thanks again, Kenny.
Of course. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Take care.
Yo. Come on. Yo, we outside the chute where the stories ignite. Fast pitch vibes under stadium lights. From the East Coast swing to the West Coast truth. We talk legends, rookies, and the wisdom of youth. Mic check 1, 2. Welcome to the zone where the podcast pops like a bat off the dome. Framer and Hopi, yeah, they keep it legit. Dropping knowledge every week, never missing a hit. From East Hands to Cali, they reppin' the sport. With guests who bring heat like a fastball court. Coaches, players, and fans in the mix. Talking hustle hard and championship tricks. Outside the chute, where the stories unfold. Diamonds and dreams, silver and gold. Every pitch, every play, every tale they salute. We living that life outside the chute. Outside the chute, where the stories unfold. Diamonds and dreams, silver and gold. Every pitch, every play, every tale they salute. We living that life outside the chute. It's more than a game, it's a culture of vibe. Where the grind meets glory and the spirits collide. They break it all down from the gear to the grind. With laughs, real talk, and a powerful mind. You want insight? They got it on lock. From the dugout drama to the post-game shock. It's softball soul with a podcast beat. Where the field meets the mic, now that's elite. So if you love the game, this the place to be. Tune in, turn up, let the stories run free. Outside the chute, yeah, they changing the game. One episode at a time, building that fame. Outside the chute, where the